finalists. It is going to be a Terran player. It's going to be Terror, continuing his domination in 2020 and 2021. And now we're going to get into probably the matchup that everybody wants to see here. It's going to be Bonyth versus OyA. Is Bonyth going to be able to continue his run here? Or is the up-and-coming superstar OyA going to be the first one to actually knock out Bonyth in what now? The 4th BSL straight?
Yeah, well, in a lot of BSLs. Bonyth is nuts, man, in this tournament. And, you know, OyA, I remember they played, obviously, they played last season. And Bonyth, wasn't it against OyA, actually, that he had that game where the Goon missed? Or is that against the Walt?
I feel like it was versus OyA. No, I feel like it was versus OyA because I don't think Dawid has ever had anything go well for him versus Bonyth. The chance of that being a 1 in 256 for Dawid versus Bonyth, I think, is a 0% chance of happening. So I feel like it must have been versus OyA. I would have to go look though. Again, you guys can check on. You can look on Wikipedia.
Not that it matters. I'm just saying. I'm just recollecting the good memories here in BSL for everyone. But yeah, I mean, OyA is gonna have his work cut out for him. OyA again has been kind of on like a skyrocketing trajectory in terms of his BSL performances. Of course, only a couple seasons ago he had his first BSL appearance in the Gosu League, which he won, and he's been going higher and higher nonstop since then. So, you know, if technically, if the trajectory is on course, he should be winning this.
Yeah, well, we'll see if Bonyth can get his 4th, well, not his 4th victory in BSL because we're not there yet, but get into the 4th straight finals. I think it would be a record because I think True Touch has done it, 3 times maybe 4 times in a row. And this would definitely set Bonyth apart from True Touch in that sense. I think we're going to have FP view this time, which is why maybe this is taking a little bit longer. We, again, are looking at the bracket. As I've mentioned, Terror is in the grand finals. It's going to be best of 7. Meanwhile, Avilov in the 3rd place match. That is going to be a best of 5. It's going to be Saturday next week. It is all the games are Saturday. It's not going to be like 3rd place match on Saturday and then the finals on Sunday. Everything is all going to be on one day, so definitely make sure you tune in for that.
Yeah, next Saturday is Catholic Easter, right? Which is why, or next Sunday rather, which is why the broadcast is getting pushed to Saturday instead. So make sure you guys mark down your calendars. And yeah, I mean, it's gonna be exciting. We're gonna have a sick 3rd place match and a grand final match. I mean, you know, if you think about the kind of expected outcome here, if Bonyth wins, then we're gonna have Terror versus Bonyth and Avilov versus OyA, and that's gonna be a sick 3rd place match because Avilov did take down OyA early on in the group stages, so that's gonna be a sick kind of opportunity for OyA to redeem himself, and I'd be looking forward to that more than the final almost. But of course, if OyA wins here and then we have OyA in the final with Terror, that would be absolutely hype. Absolutely hype. So either way, whatever happens now is going to be just so sick for next week. You can see OyA versus Bonyth again. Just look at OyA's trajectory, man. Winner of BSL Gosu, then Season 8, 17th through 22nd, then Season 9, 5th through 8th, Season 10, 4th. So, I mean, I guess he needs to get 3rd this season. So, whether it goes well for him or not today, he is going to have a chance to improve. But you would expect, given this trajectory, that maybe he's going to make the finals finally.
That is true. He might do it. It would be sick if he actually comes from Gosu League and ends up winning a Pro League just a couple seasons later. I think he would be the first person to come from Gosu League or Chobo League and make it into a finals. So really nicely done from OyA over the past, 5 seasons or 4 seasons now. He's improved so much. You can see it also reflected in MMR. Over 2,500. Not many people can do that. And you can look at his win percentage versus all the races. His best so far looks like it is Terran. Meanwhile, about a 55% win rate versus Zerg and Protoss. And he's beaten very good Zergs and Protosses to make it this far. Like in the round of 16, he took out Gorinich. It's not like he's beating no-name players and having this type of win rate. These are the top of the top. And then to get to the round of 4, he beat True Touch, who looked like a monster in the round of 16 with his Hydra movement. So if OyA G faces Avilov, Avilov is going to have his work cut out for him. But at the same time, Avilov with that Hive, Massling, heavy upgrade, heavy econ style, he was able to take out some of the strong Protosses that we've seen so far.
Yeah. Well, we'll have to see. I mean, here's the thing, you know, obviously as a player, if you're OyA G listening to this broadcast or just like reading whatever Discord or whatever thread there's on the tournament, like, and you read people just talking about, well, you know, he's probably not going to beat Bonyth. It's like, all right, I'll show you guys. So, and the reality is, it only takes one series to change that perception. You know, like he can easily win here against Bonyth, and from now on, then everyone's like, okay, wow, OyA G is really good. So it doesn't really matter what the perception is, and the reality is OyA is a strong player. Bonyth for sure. I mean, the thing with Bonyth is he's like, he's just so strong. He has such a solid understanding of what he does in the game and how he wants to play it, and he has so much experience. You know, Bonyth is really someone that I feel like has just demonstrated that he is kind of a tier above the rest of the foreign players, and I feel like even Dawid hasn't done this, to be completely honest with you, because I just don't find that, you know, Bonyth has just had much better success, you know, to put it simply. So that's the one thing that's in OyA's way to victory here, is that Bonyth is a sick player.
Indeed he is. And our first map is going to be Eclipse. This map coming up means that the players are ready. So let's get into game 1 between our two Protoss All-Stars in OyA G versus Bonyth. So in the top right, we have our peach-colored Protoss player. It is Bonyth.
In the bottom left, in the brown Protoss, it is OyA. Kind of earth colors clashing on the earth map.
Indeed. Well, last week I think we saw Dawid and Bonyth both pull out a 2-gate in their main. Can't remember exactly who won those particular matches, but we may see similar openers. I remember one game on Eclipse was a 2-gate opener, or maybe that was Dawid in the ACS qualifiers. Can't remember exactly, but I wouldn't be surprised if we see one of the players end up going into aggressive play. I remember that the follow-up was Cybernetics, and it was not a Forge follow-up, which is what I see on the ladder whenever I off-race Protoss into that particular opener. So if we do see 2-gate, we're going to have to pay close attention whether it's going to be a Nexus or it's just going to be standard Goon follow-up. So far, no second gate, though. Oh, is that? Oh, I thought that was going to be the second gate from OyA G.
Keep your pants on.
But look at this. Bonyth banking up the minerals, and he's going to be the one with the second gate. So you keep your pants on, Mihai.
I don't know if that's how it works, dude. But
Does that not how it works?
Yeah, my pants are not coming off anyway. Well, 2-gate on a 2-player map is interesting, but I think Bonyth might actually have suspected a proxy 2-gate. You know, I really don't think that you would go 2-gate like this just to put on some pressure, because it's just not as strong on a 2-player map. But you know what can be strong on a 2-player map is a proxy 2-gate. So that's what I think is the reasoning here. But you know, maybe Bonyth is just, I mean, you know, Bonyth is the type of person to whip out the 2-gate. But we kept talking, I remember last season we kept talking about Bonyth build, and he just played so standard in all of his games. So in a sense, it is kind of surprising that he is whipping it out. And yeah, we've spoken about the dynamics of this build before, but The idea is you get up to 3 zealots and put on pressure, and the defending player needs to at least make a shield battery, and you know, can't really lose too many. Well, not necessarily make a shield battery, but sometimes they do, which is good, obviously, for the 2-gator. And they can't really lose any probes, so it is hard. We've seen this. I mean, Bonyth whipped this out against DeWalt last week to great success.
Yeah, and shield battery is going up, as you mentioned. That gas in the main of Bonyth went up pretty fast, and I'm kind of surprised to see the shield battery, because I think this is just going to be 3 zealots. I don't expect to see more zealots after this. I assume that a cybernetics is going to be coming down pretty soon. And I think OyA could have gotten away with just building 2 zealots and a goon. But shield battery, not the biggest investment. Sure, it is 100 minerals. It will help you. Now that probe is still in the main, and that could be used for some type of proxy shenanigans.
Dude, this shield battery placement, oh my god. I was going to say it's genius, because then he can 100% hold the zealots at the ramp the entire time, but then they just go into the base, and now the shield battery, you know what's nice about having the shield battery next to the Nexus is that you can recharge the probes. So it looks like Bonyth doesn't even care about going for probes, which is interesting. He does get 1 already. That's a I mean, gets the zealot, not so consequential though. I'm surprised he spent so much time finding the zealot instead of just going straight for the probes. Again, because there's no shield battery next to the Nexus, you can't use it to restore the probe shields, and so far OyA's only lost 1 probe. This is so good for OyA.
Yeah, nicely done. And looks like Bonyth suspects that that probe is in the main. Really nice game sense to realize that, hey, I didn't actually see that probe leave my base. So let's make sure that there is nothing hidden inside of it. Now back in Bonyth's main, the first 2 goons are out. Robo is more than halfway done for OyA, so he's teching extremely hard. Bonyth doesn't have the gas, I don't think, to put down a robotics just yet. So we'll see if he's going to actually go into something like Citadel. I don't think that's going to be the case, but it's a possibility.
I mean, I feel like he saw the robotics, though, with the double zealots in the base, so it'd be so surprising if he actually did go for a Citadel. But when you see the robotics and you have 2-gate like this, as Bonyth, what's nice is that you could potentially just expand off of these 2 gates, so I wouldn't be surprised to see that from him.
We could see the Nexus going down. I think that the Zealots may have went too far deep into the mineral line to actually catch the Robo timing. But we do see that Robo has now just started for Bonyth. Wow, I'm shocked that that's an observatory coming in for OyA. He's, I guess, really worried about potential Citadel follow-up. And is just going to get out a fast observer. That is going to delay his for his reaver quite a long time. That's going to allow Bonyth to catch up in the reaver count. You can see that Bonyth still wants to be aggressive, whether or not he tries and gets damage done. I think this is just to try and poke the natural, make sure there is no Nexus for OyA. But now he sees the blur, and he should know that this was just an observer follow-up.
Yeah, well, it was an observer follow-up, but there is a support bait behind that, so OyA playing, you know, very standard here, and this is just such a nice position to be in, honestly, as OyA. The only drawback here from his build is that he's still only on 1 gateway, so he doesn't have too many units, and at this point, Bonyth very smartly positions his Dragoons below the ramp, effectively containing OyA for the time being, though. With the ramp, OyA will be able to micro a reaver and take shots off, but you know, to be completely safe, he might actually have to wait for the shuttle as well. And this is gonna give Bonyth so much time to just get the Nexus up. And yeah, I mean, this observer was safe from OyA, but it has delayed his build quite a bit. This is so risky though, without the shuttle support. I mean,
but he's got the battery. He can just heal it.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, good point.
That is actually really sick. That's something I did. Well, you gotta get in range of the battery to heal. And I like how that triggers all the goons to just come down.
Yeah, tilt move.
Yeah, tilt move. And there's not enough goons to actually fight this. The Bonyth is gonna trade super cost-effective 6 goons versus now 3 and 2 zealots. And meanwhile, getting rid of that reaver means Bonyth is gonna have reaver advantage while also having a Nexus advantage.
Well, the second reaver is going to successfully defend his natural, but like you said, Bonyth is going to have a huge advantage with the Nexus. And yeah, it's... I don't know, I'm actually quite curious to see if Bonyth did get to see the robotics this game or not in OyA's base. Because, I mean, he delayed his robotics quite a bit, which allowed him to get all the goon count up, and he played so aggressively with it and got into such a nice position that he really kind of nullified the fact... I mean, OyA had a nice spot. He was in a nice spot, you know, when you defend double gate like that, only lose one probe, and then your tech is so much faster, that's nice. But if you're going... here's the thing with OyA's build, is that you know Bonyth is going 2-gate, right? So you know his tech can't be that fast, and the first building you put down is a robotics. I don't think you need to rush for an observatory. You could even get the shuttle before, and you would have observers in time for DT. So I think that was a bit inaccurate from OyA, and he got punished for it. And now Bonyth is going to come in here with his shuttle and reaver. Only one reaver was 2, but he has shuttle support. But that was actually sick connections from OyA's reavers, and he had so many units, so completely slapping down this attack from Bonyth.
Yeah, also the 2 reavers that fired hit the reaver as it landed from Bonyth, so it instantly lost all of its shield. So really nice defense there from OyA, and that definitely kind of got him back into the game. Sure, the Nexus has been up and running for Bonyth for quite a long time, but knocking down one of the reavers, well, I guess that was the only reaver, is very nice. And now OyA is going to go on a counterattack, and I think he kept both of his reavers alive. So this is going to be very, very difficult to stop, especially since Bonyth does not have a shuttle.
Yeah, I mean, that was a huge blunder from Bonyth, and he could have taken his time because he had the shuttle advantage for a while. He should have just kept harassing with the reaver instead of committing there. Double reaver can be so strong in a defensive posture like that. And now it's OyA's time with the shuttle. You see, this is what Bonyth should have done, that OyA is doing so well. He sees that he has a shuttle advantage, and he's forcing Bonyth into him before taking the fight, but that was a 6 shuttle snipe.
Oh my gosh.
OyA gets the trade on top of the reaver as well, and now they're pretty much even in terms of unit count. It doesn't look like OyA is actually reinforcing with any units, so I wonder... yeah, no, he just hasn't done so just yet. So Bonyth is going to hold on for a bit, and this game is really even.
Yeah, 77 to 73. Looks like the army is pretty much identical too. I think Bonyth has an extra couple zealots, but other than that, pretty much exact even unit count. Maybe slightly more, well, actually way more goons for OyA, but with more goons popping out of those 4 gateways, Bonyth should be evening up the score pretty soon. I did notice Citadel is coming in for Bonyth. He did mine his nat gas a little bit faster, so Templar should be coming out relatively soon. 5th and 6th gate going up. Meanwhile, OyA still only on 4 gate.
Yeah, the 6th gate is, you know, usually, I'm guessing you usually see the 6th gate when you're getting ready to transition into Citadel. So I'm actually curious to see whether or not Bonyth is getting Templar Archives soon, but probably, yeah, Citadel is there. Yeah, so that's why you see these 6 gates going up, because now he can start producing zealots, which aren't, you know, don't cost nearly as much as Dragoons do, surprisingly enough. I mean, Dragoons are like 50 gas, it's kind of insane, 125 minerals. Whereas the zealot, just the 100 minerals, it's much cheaper, so you can increase that gateway count. And yeah, I mean, looks like we're going to get into kind of a later game situation here.
Well, the one differing thing I see right now is Forge started for OyA instead of the Citadel, so he's going to have faster +1. Now, I can't remember the exact reasoning that +1 is a big breakpoint in PvP, but it is a breakpoint, I do remember that. So the longer the game goes, the more of an advantage that OyA is going to have. However, oh, does he have speed on that shuttle? He does. So it looks like Bonyth wants to put on some pressure now. I didn't catch whether this is 2 reavers or just 1. Oh. Now, I don't know about this. OyA's reaver seems very far isolated, but Bonyth is way out of position.
They actually both traded reavers there, and this is... I can't really tell who this is good for. I mean, OyA with the sick flank now from the bottom side, but they're all missing on the high ground, and Zealot speed is already done, and you know Bonyth has 6 gate behind this, so he can reinforce this really well. Zealot's coming in just now, streaming into this fight. he will be able to clean this up. And honestly, Bonyth's transition into Citadel is going to save him here. He's going to completely smash this, and you know, behind this, Bonyth can basically take a third base and deny OyA's third base and start getting into Templar tech. So really, Bonyth is getting into a really nice spot.
Yeah, Zealots are going to pounce on top of those couple goons. You can see that there's no speed for OyA, but it looks like Bonyth is content with just backing off for now. Both players lost both their Reavers and Shuttles. Forge is spinning for Bonyth. Now, I actually didn't see if the Forge was spinning for OyA. I know that he built it. Okay, it is spinning, so they should have matching upgrade timings. Looks like first Reaver is already built for OyA, so he's going to try and go for a follow-up attack pretty soon. But I did see Probe was over at mid-left. There it is, so it looks like he's setting up to take a third base. But again, supplies are very, very even, 92 to 93.
Yeah, supplies are even, and OyA, I'm actually surprised that OyA is taking such an aggressive posture here, despite having lost these fights. Of course, if Bonyth does run up into this high ground, it's going to be a good position for OyA to be in, but I just don't think he has enough units to hold this comfortably. And it doesn't look like he has shuttles, or he doesn't have Reavers or Templars in that army, so... Okay, Bonyth is moving all the way around the high ground. Really good movement from him. But OyA's observer spots him, so he's going to be able to reposition his own army. And we're going to have another brawl here near OyA's bases. And we'll have to see who gets the better end of this fight. The shuttle is going really far forward. Only one Reaver on Bonyth's side. Double Reaver crawling into the fight from OyA's side. The double Reavers are going to be... do they even have Scarabs? They're barely shooting. Not really connecting with the right targets. And it looks like Bonyth is just... it's so close, neck and neck, but these Zealots are going to tank so much of the remaining Dragoon fire from OyA. And the Reaver for Bonyth is still alive, but OyA with some sick micro, kiting away from the Zealots, really making them useless. And now he has his own Zealots joining the fight. He's going to pounce onto the Reaver, kills it, not before the Reaver gets a couple of juicy shots onto the Dragoon clumps there. And OyA is going to... he's going to hold.
He is going to hold, but he lost both of his Reavers. Sure, Bonyth also lost his Reaver. Uh-oh. There is a DT moving across the map, and I don't see an observer anywhere. Luckily, there's a cannon, so at least that's not going to be disrupted by this DT. But if this can waltz into the main, it looks like OyA has spotted it. You can see... Oh, I thought he did, but instead, it does just waltz into the main, and it's going to pick off this Reaver for free.
I'm actually kind of surprised that... Okay, there we go.
Gosh.
There's a cannon in the main base, but this DT can actually just chill around and kill Templars or Reavers. It's really annoying. I was going to say, I'm a bit surprised that OyA is still building Reavers at this point, instead of really transitioning into Templar. You know, especially once huge gateway counts kick in and Zealot speed kicks in, Reavers just aren't that effective anymore. So... And I mean, they're really expensive units is the thing. They're still strong, you know, don't get me wrong. Reavers are strong units, but they're extremely expensive, and they take up valuable production inside the robotics. You know, you could be making shuttles, you could be making observers with that. But really, they're just so expensive. They're so incredibly expensive. Whereas a Templar is cheaper and arguably does more damage, really. So, well, we'll see. I mean, the thing for Bonyth now is that his third base is online. Much quicker than OyA's third base.
He missed the DT. He thought he killed it, but it's actually still alive. And you know that that mineral line is about to get absolutely destroyed once the probes get transferred. And Bonyth is starting to run away with it in terms of supply. He had about a 15 supply lead. Now with the macro cycle in, OyA is going to kind of even it up. But you're about to see that supply plummet quite quickly once the battle... Oh, I'm surprised he sent the DT already in. But I think it's just to draw units out of position. Yeah, he's just going to instantly attack. And that's exactly what's happening. He's got matching Archon count. He's got a 2 Reaver advantage.
That DT is still wailing on top of the Nexus, so OyA might lose the Nexus in this fight, but it looks like Bonyth... It doesn't really matter. Bonyth has way more units than OyA does. Has a superior composition. Looks like the Reavers are still nuts here. Gypsy has no idea what he's talking about, and OyA GG's sick attack at the end there from Bonyth.
Yeah, and that DT did end up taking out the Nexus also. So nicely done from Bonyth. It looked like both players were quite even through the majority of the game, but as you mentioned, the Citadel speed kicking in, a big advantage for Bonyth going into the mid game. But those reaver shots outside of OyA's base, those were sick. Those were game-saving shots, and I thought that the counterattack had a real shot at ending Bonyth, but the reaver control just kind of not enough for OyA in the mid and late game.
I mean, it was close, you know, it was just close. I feel like Bonyth just... that game was so close, man. Bonyth just had the right transitions earlier. He had the faster... He was just 2 steps ahead the entire game. And to be honest, I feel like OyA kind of got a bit fortunate early on with Bonyth's totally butchered attack, like the first attack onto the natural. I feel like really led OyA back into the game. But besides that, you know, I feel like Bonyth was in control the entire game. He had a faster Nexus. His Zealot transition was faster. His third base was faster. He had better fights. It's really just that big blunder early on that I feel like extended the game. And on OyA's side, I really feel like he shot himself in the foot going for observers that early. Like, if you go 1-gate robotics, why are we getting observers? Like, that build is 2-gate observers. There's, you know, like, if the robotics is that early, if you get the observers that early, they're redundant in that, you know, observers are there to really detect DTs. They're not there to go scout your opponent. So
I was also a bit surprised by the observer timing. I thought it was going to be straight support bait, because that's what Bonyth ended up doing. If anyone was going to go observer, you would expect him to be the one to go to observer, because OyA had the option to go Citadel.
Exactly.
There was no detection for Bonyth forever.
I agree.
For a very long time. So I did think that was a bit suspect, but it is what it is, and Bonyth is going to be up 1-0. We don't know what the second or third...
Oh, no, we do know.
Oh, we do know? We were informed?
Yeah. Sylphid.
Okay, so we're going to have Sylphid coming up.
And obviously, guys, I mean, I'll just say this real quick, because, you know, we're not sitting here trying to, like, pick apart, like, oh, yeah, this player did this bad, they're bad. I think the idea is just that we're trying to understand exactly what happened to, like, it seemed like despite OyA having that early game lead, right, from defending the 2-gate really well, he just never really translated it into an advantage, right? And, like, what are we going to talk about in the post game? I mean, yeah, Bonyth played really well, but, you know, these are the things that went in his favor, whatever. But, you know, I think it's important to keep that into perspective sometimes, because, you know, especially I feel like, well, especially I do this a lot. Now you can, you know, doesn't as much probably, or doesn't express it the same way, but because we are players, we are constantly thinking about the game and analyzing what happened. Whereas, you know, if you're not as familiar with the game, I think it's easier to just be like, wow, this guy really played well because he was winning the whole game. And that's kind of like a very superficial analysis of what happens, you know, so.
Yeah, well, we'll see what adjustments OyA is going to make in our second game. As you mentioned, it is Sylphid, and Sylphid is one of the maps that OyA has been the most aggressive on, but really, we haven't seen him be that aggressive in all of BSL. As I've mentioned before, my first experience versus OyA on Circuit Breakers like 2 years ago, this guy came into my chat and asked me for the game. I'm like, who the heck is OyA? I don't even know who this guy is. 7-7 gates me in the center of the map on Circuit Breakers. I'm like, oh, so this is who we're dealing with. We're dealing with this guy that's just in your face all the time.
You've already said this. I do like that about OyA. He is the type of player to go into Twitch chats and ask for games. And then, even if you don't agree, he'll just sit there and snipe you. Because he wants to play you.
That sounds like my type of move.
And honestly, that's totally respectable. You know...
For those of you that don't know, back in the iCup days, I had about 9 accounts that were B+ to A- range, and anybody that I deemed as BM or made me mad, I would just switch accounts and snipe them over and over and over until they D-ranked. So that's definitely my type of move, to just go into a chat and snipe somebody.
Yeah.
But I don't think OyA is as malicious as I was. It always made my day to see
Yeah,
them
you're
go from
actually,
B+ or B.
I'm not gonna lie, Dan, but you're a secret asshole.
Am I?
Yeah.
Maybe.
You know, people think it's Gypsy who's the bad guy, the mean guy on the cast. I'm the evil. I'm the Dark Templar. You're the High Templar.
It could be true what you're saying, because I think people are realizing that over time that Hydra's personality may have been brought on by Artosis. I think people are starting to recognize that now. But that actually Artosis is the big rager and not Hydra. So anyways, let's get into our second match. It is going to be Sylphid. OyA definitely needs a victory here, because going up against somebody like Bonyth and you're down 2-0 in a best of 5, that's basically doomsday. So let's see if he can even up the scores. Okay, in the bottom right in the red, already up 1-0, it is Bonyth.
And in the bottom right, in the pink, it is the Swedish Protoss OyA.
Alright, so we did see 2-gate opener from Bonyth already. Even though this is a good map for 2-gate, I don't think we're going to see it again. I am looking at OyA's base. It looks like Pylon going down in the main, so not going to be an aggressive proxy opener. I'm thinking back to, I think, was it DeWalt that played OyA earlier? Maybe not, but somebody did scout the middle of the map versus him in the earlier stages of the BSL, so I wonder if Bonyth will do the same thing here, be a little bit cautious going up against OyA. There's the first gate for both players.
Yeah. Well, this is Sylphid again. You know, what's funny. I'm being a bit self-conscious here, Nayokin, but I find myself being like, if there's one matchup, I talk a lot about the builds and like try and like talk more about the theory. It's PvP instead of like the Terran matchups. I don't know if that's because I'm insecure about what's going on in this matchup, but I was just like, dude, how many times have I spoken about how, you know, well, there's no ramp here, so, you know, 2 gates nice, 3 gates nice, kind of delaying your robotics or whatever. But then, yeah, I don't know. Whatever, man. Don't just look at me like that.
I'm just waiting. I don't even know where you're going with the story.
I don't know where I'm going with it either. It's just a side remark, dude.
I'm just waiting. Well, I will say that I think my favorite build from Protoss players is the delayed Citadel.
Yeah.
And the reason for it is because there's definitely a lot of mind games and thoughts going into it, right? The opposing player knows that the observer is going to be coming out. And a lot of times only one observer gets built. So if you just delay the DT enough where the observer is across the map, it can deal a lot of damage. So that's actually my favorite opener from Protoss. Now, both players ended up going for a zealot, but OyA's not going to get a scout off. Bonyth is going to be the one that gets the scout. And with the blocked entrance, we may actually see some Citadel type play coming in from Bonyth. Looks like 100 gas got spent, and I think that could be a Citadel. Nope, it is.
Well, he's only on 2 pylons. And you know what's sick about this is that you could skip the 3rd pylon here as Bonyth and accelerate. Okay, 2nd gate going up, so just playing super standard. Not really abusing the fact that, well, I mean, no matter what Bonyth does, I mean, he's at an advantage in that OyA will have to guess twice about his build order because he hasn't gotten any scouting intel and he only saw the 1 zealot and the Dragoon, I guess. So he does see 1 zealot, 1 Dragoon, but he does not see whether there's 2 gates, whether there's 3 pylons. It could literally be anything at this point. And so if you're in OyA's shoes, yeah, you got to get that robotics. And again, this is Gateway Robo on Sylphid. And Bonyth is going 2-gate Dragoon. Now, it's slightly different, obviously, from the opening that we saw on Eclipse in terms of the ordering. But the overall opening is the same, where OyA's got this fast tech going with the robotics, and Bonyth has the double gate going. Now, if OyA goes for what he did last game, for a quick observer again, okay, he's actually getting a 2nd gate. 3 gates. Okay, so this is going to be completely different. He's going to go for the observer here, but with 3 gates. So he might be able to avoid a contain, but this is really risky because with the early 2 gate like this, Bonyth can poke up and get a nice position into his natural.
Yeah, and that's going to be a big concave advantage because really only one unit can come out at a time trying to go through that tiny choke. So OyA definitely does not want to give up this Nat if he can. So far, it is 3 goons versus 4. So a bit of an advantage for Bonyth right now, and he is going to pounce instantly, and instantly OyA has to back off. But he should be able to hold this entrance.
And this
well,
is
maybe not.
Well, it looks like Bonyth just has crazy micro, man. He's going in. The Zealot does die, though, so actually I think OyA should be okay. It's going to be really close. He has to pull a couple probes. That's a lot of probes to pull, though.
Probes?
All of a sudden, that's definitely worth for Bonyth. And Bonyth somehow does not lose that last Dragoon, and he's killing probes. This is massive amount of damage.
He can one-shot probes with 3 goons, so he's now wiped out 4 probes, and that goon that thought he was going to one-shot that goon in the back ends up not even getting the kill. It survives with like 5 health or something crazy. That's a 5th probe going down. Meanwhile, that was 12 probes that were pulled. This is going to be Bonyth absolutely running away with this game.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, he almost can't even afford getting Dragoons off of the 3 gates. OyA is going to GG.
Well, that was masterful. I thought, if this is me in the same scenario, I'm just content with taking my advantage sitting on hold position outside your entrance. But Bonyth, with that killer instinct that you know he has, he knows that he's got the better micro. He just says, oh, you have 1 less goon? I will just kill you. And that was perfect micro.
And you know, I think that's what I really like about PvP, is that because, you know, as opposed to like ZVZ or TVT, because the units are so mobile but also so expensive, like when you're 2-gating that situation, almost against all builds, your timing is 4 Dragoons. 4 Dragoon, 1 Zealot. If he waits for the 5th and 6th Dragoon, then the 3 gates kick in for OyA and he has multiple goons. So there's these like really sharp timings where, okay, I have my 4 goons I'm going in, and I know for a fact that unless he's doing 2 gate, he's going to have less units than me. So it's about the micro and the execution in this situation. And conversely, obviously, if you're OyA in that situation, you see those 4 goons coming in with the Zealot, you're like, all right, well, I know this guy's on 2 gate opener because there's no way he can be on my side of the map and have an extra goon on me, despite the fact that, you know, I haven't been cutting goons. So, and then, you know, on top of that, it just comes down to just the execution. And it's a pretty straightforward execution, right? There's a Zealot tanking, and then you dance your Dragoons around. But Bonyth is just so incredibly good at that he literally takes the 1 goon advantage and instantly wins the game.
Yeah, he's got that instinct, and he's got the control to back it up. And that's going to be a 2-0 lead for Bonyth already. And I think the second game is really the heartbreaker for OyA. First game looked pretty good. It looked pretty even for the majority of the game, but to just be decimated like that with just a few units, that's really going to hurt his mental state going into the 3rd map. So there's a real chance that this just ends in a 3-0. And this is going to be OyA's last lifeline. It's going to be Polypoid, so let's see if Bonyth can close it out. Right, in the top right, our BSL King, looking to make it to the finals for the 4th time in a row. It is Bonyth.
And in the top left, in the purple, 1 game away from being eliminated. That is OyA.
Do you think it's time? Do you risk your entire tournament going for something crazy? Or do you just keep playing standard versus Bonyth here?
It's hard, because even if it works, you still have to win after like 2 more games. So yeah, it's one of the worst feelings, one of the absolute worst feelings, being down 0-2 like this, because you know you have a huge mountain to climb, and it's really like you can't really think about it. Can't really think about it. Does he go for it? Looks like not. Looks like he's building in his base, Nyokin.
Yep, so far everything looks normal. I think you got to go for it, and the reason is it just...
Yeah, but what's he gonna go for now? DT?
Well, I don't know exactly what he'll go for, but you have a lot of options in PvP. You can
Not
go
on not on a ramped map though.
You can go 3-gate, no observer. Just pray to God that this guy doesn't go DT. You know, actually, a lot of games we've seen on Polypoid, they've ended up going 1-gate expand. You remember that, right? We've seen Bonyth also in this exact position go for 1-gate expand.
Yeah, but 1-gate expand is incredibly greedy, and you would expect it to be 1-gate robo, almost always. Like I know what you're saying, Naokin, but like, this isn't Sylphid, right? Like, 3 gates doesn't even necessarily beat 1 gate with a ramp. So, unless they go specifically for 1-gate Nexus, which, I mean, if you're okay, let's turn it around here. If you're Bonyth, what do you do here? You've got 2 games, you can do whatever you want.
I would just 2-gate robo every game because it feels like I can't get out microed. Look at this. A probe gets stuck by a pylon block. Oh, no it doesn't. He glitches it out. Sure, he's not going to be able to mine that patch efficiently, but at least that probe got out and can continue to mine. And this is Bonyth's FP view. So he is going to go for a cross scout here and find OyA G in the second position. Looks like he has a cybernetics hotkey, so more than likely range is going to be coming in.
Riddle me this, man.
Yeah,
Apparently, there's a lot of tension between the two of us.
There isn't. There is not any tension. Who wrote that?
I don't know. That's all chat's typing about right now.
I'm pretty sure there's no tension. Oh, I see it in the chat. Ever since Mihai beat me in Ascension. I mean, I'm happy that you won in Ascension. You played well. You know, of course, I wanted to play well. There's only one game that I do have regrets on, and that's the Shakuris game.
Yeah.
I don't know if you watched the replay, but at 44 supply, I realized I was getting supply blocked.
Yeah.
So already it's too late. Like, I've already lost 20 seconds. Then I went to go build the depot, and it didn't build. So I was actually just supply blocked for like a minute. Yeah. And as you know, in TVT, it's about map positioning and setting up a container.
Yeah, of course.
But if I move out, I don't have as many units as you.
Yeah.
So I kind of have to give it to you. But if I give it to you, I get contained. So it's like, so honestly, I just wanted to leave right at that moment. But of course, I'm not going to leave.
To the tournament game. No, but the thing, it's so funny, man, because these clowns in the chat, they don't even realize that you and I have known each other for over 10 years at this point. And it's not just 10 years of like, oh, we kind of like have been acquaintances, but we literally like have been talking like regularly on almost a day, at least a weekly basis for like fucking 10 years. And let's it slip like that, the F-bomb, but for like 10 years. So it's just so funny to me reading these comments. Of course, guys, sometimes, you know, I will say this, you know, because it's, you know, when we watch this many games and you see the same opening after same opening, it gets kind of stale just talking about the same things all the time on a cast. So that's why, you know, I'll open up my Discord, I'll open up my Twitch chat in the middle of a, oh, that's so unprofessional, Gypsy. I mean, should we be casting? But, you know, I do what I want.
I know that. I know for a fact. You do what you want and you just go off. You go off on some of the clowns in the chat, as you call them. Then you instantly unban them. As far as this game, it looks like, again, this is straight support bay for Bonyth. Meanwhile, if I see an observatory for OyA G, I'm going to be so sad for, oh man, I'm so sad because this is going to be reaver advantage for Bonyth for a few seconds. And I imagine that he's going to instantly attack with it.
Yeah.
Oh, nope. That's an observer popping out. So it looks like OyA G is going to have a similar timing.
Yeah, we'll have to see. You know, I'm not going to lie, I have no idea what's going on in this game. But it looks like they're both doing the same build, literally the same build, obs support bay 2 gate. So regardless of how they got there, they're going to have very similar units. The obs actually just just high-fiving in the middle of the map on the identical timing here. So the nice advantage Bonyth has, given the spawning locations here, is that he can use his high ground to defend. And if he kills this observer, oh my god, they even trade observers.
Yeah, that was a crucial pick-off for OyA to at least even up the loss of observers there. I thought for sure Bonyth was going to get that observer and back off. Looks like the Reaver is ready for Bonyth, though. OyA moving around the bottom side is always dangerous, because if he overextends and gets flanked, especially with high ground from the back, he's in deep trouble. And now, I guess he potentially can go for the flank, but OyA doesn't have a shuttle.
Yeah. Well,
this is base trade scenario.
Yeah, you don't see that often. OyA's Reaver just... Oh my god, it's taking so many hits. It does get 2 Reaver shots off, which is not going to be inconsequential. OyA, though, where's his... did he have a shuttle with this attack, or was that the only Reaver he had?
That was it, and Bonyth is going to just flat out kill the probe line way faster.
Oh my god.
Than OyA. And if he can get even a single probe across the map, Bonyth can rebuild his Nexus.
Yeah, and the shuttle popped out from OyA's robotics and got instantly shut down. You know what's nice about this for Bonyth is that maybe even if his support bay is actually in the corner there, he might be getting shuttle speed, and if he has shuttle speed, he is going to be able to just kite for days with this Reaver. So honestly, just looking at this, just having the shuttle and Reaver is a mega advantage, but he definitely needs at least shuttle speed to like comfortably exert that advantage over OyA.
But he's just going to take a Nexus and just take this base. And even though OyA has money to build a Nexus at top right himself, the Nexus isn't cleared out just yet, and Bonyth transferred like 12 probes. I only saw 2 or 3 get across for OyA. So with Reaver on high ground, this is just going to be a 3-0 win for Bonyth. There's no chance of OyA winning this game.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, they're both building Nexuses, but I'm telling... Well, actually...
There's just way too many probes.
Yeah, yeah.
I agree the armies are similar, but there's no way...
No, you're totally right. Yeah, of course.
So, oh, look at that goon. Maybe that's the difference maker. He's hiding in the corner. He can go for the flank on the Reaver in the back.
Well, you can tell that OyA knows he has to do something, because instead of... I mean, Bonyth is the one who's just sitting here contently, but...
What's that goon doing? He's on the run.
He's hiding in the closet, dude. Don't take me.
What's funny? Oh, I thought actually he drew all the units out of position, but I see those zealots are on hold position. Well, I mean, he got as many kills as he's gonna get. He got 2 probe kills, so that's not bad. But how are you getting up this ramp? Look at that Reaver. It has 16 kills. Crazy. Make that 17. Well, Nexus is up and running. You can see it in the supply, 33 to 18. Despite having even armies, the probe count is massively higher for Bonyth. So OyA really needs to make some type of magic happen with these goons, but instead he's just taking shots to the face, and almost all the shields are going on all of these goons. I guess he's trying to bait out the money.
Yeah, he is. I mean, that's actually kind of hilarious. I've never seen that. We'll have to see. I mean, there's just... I mean, Bonyth is mining, but OyA doesn't necessarily know that. I wonder... I mean, he saw how many probes there are, which is why he's forcing this. He knows. Oh, well, the support base sees it too. GG. Bonyth takes it 3-0. Advances to the final.
And just in pure Bonyth fashion, it was masterful. Great micro. Great execution. The base trade I thought was an okay choice for OyA, but unfortunately not able to get as many probes across the map as Bonyth. If he was able to get as many out, he could have actually... We could have had a real scenario where both players just build up in each other's mains. But OyA, he had a good run. He impressed us throughout the entire tournament. He took out one of the strongest players in True Touch in the round of 8. Unfortunately falling to Bonyth, who is just, you know, he always wins BSL, so no shame there. And just like Avilov, he makes it into the round of 4, so he's going to be qualified automatically into BSL 12. So we will see him again next season.
Yeah, and again, he has, well, I think we're actually going to get into an interview possibly with the players Okay. You think we should go for a break or just keep going then? No, we can keep going. Okay, yeah, okay. So we'll keep going, guys. It will be a Guy and I podcast for a bit. Obviously, OyA. I was gonna say it before I kind of veered off there that OyA still has an opportunity to improve his finish. If he wins against Avilov. But yeah, we're gonna have Terra versus Bonyth and Avilov versus OyA. Now, both those matchups are going to be extremely exciting, but personally, I mean, I'm looking forward to that OyA versus Avilov game.
Yeah, OyA versus Avilov should be very good. We saw that OyA had good success versus Gornich and True Touch, but Avilov seems to play a little bit different than both of them, so this should be a completely different look into the PvZ matchup. And then, of course, we have Terra versus Bonyth. Terra mentioned that he does not want to play Bonyth, losing to him 5-0 recently. But remember, Terra beat DeWalt 5-0 just a few days also, so it could have been just a good day for Bonyth or a bad day for Terra. I do think there is a real world where Terra can win versus Bonyth. However, it is BSL. Bonyth never loses in the finals. It's going to be extremely hard. I'm trying to think about the maps too. Like Overwatch is in the map pool.
Yeah.
We know carriers are deadly there. We know how deadly Bonyth in particular is with carriers. So there are certain maps where I look at it and I'm like, Terra, you're in trouble if you play on this map. But I do think he has a decent shot.
Ooh, okay, the interview is ready, guys. Yeah.
So we are together with Bonyth and OyA. So of course we want to congratulate you, Bonyth, on your victory. It's going to be your 4th straight finals appearance. And I think this would be the record if you win this time. It will be 4 in a row. So what are your thoughts going into the finals versus Terror?
As I mentioned a couple seasons ago, that I'm no longer gonna be satisfied with just finals and with the prize that's in there for the second position. I'm going for the win.
Yeah, you looked really strong all tournament long, and especially in this series versus OyA, you looked especially strong. So talk to us about some of the games. What was your mindset going up against OyA? Game 1 looked very close, but game two in particular was absolutely brutal. The micro was incredible. How did you save that one goon at the end? It had like 1 health. You could see that OyA focused it down, but it ended up not dying.
Yeah, don't make me that kind of a monster. My aim in the micro battles is to target fire opponents' goons rather than just avoiding damage. Because if I dance back and forward, that goon is not dealing damage, and my other goons are not dealing the right damage to the wounded goons. So as for micro battles, I tend to be just berserker, I suppose. Just maximize the potential.
All right, let's head into you, OyA. So unfortunately, you do fall to Bonyth here. What were your thoughts going into the series, heading into Bonyth?
Well, first of all, I want to congratulate Bonyth. Very well played, and I wish him good luck in the finals. My thoughts were, Bonyth is a beast, and he usually gets the best of me. I feel like I'm very, very close to be able to beat him, but at the same time, I'm so far away. So when I went into this game or this set, I felt like I had a chance to win, but I knew the outcome was able to end up like this. So yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately, you are going to be knocked into the 3rd place match. So tell me, what are your thoughts going up against Avilov? Avilov has looked surprisingly strong this season, but you have done very, very well versus Zergs. You've taken out Gornich, you've taken out True Touch. So what are your thoughts facing off versus Avilov in 3rd place? In the 3rd place match,
in my honest opinion, I feel like Avilov is a very underestimated player. But I feel very good going up against him because I want revenge since our last set. And I feel like we have good and entertaining games. So I hope you guys will enjoy it.
All right,
Well,
Mihai, you have any questions? Oh.
yeah, I mean, I just have this to say, OyA, you have played since, what was it, like 4 seasons ago that you played in Ghost League, or was it 5? And then,
Yeah, I think it was 4.
yeah, and ever since you've been improving your placements every single season up till last one, where you finished 4th. So if you want to keep that going, you have to get 3rd place here against Avilov. Did you know that?
Yes, of course,
Yeah.
exactly.
So
That's my
yeah,
for
that's
now. My goal was, of course, to get to the finals, but
mhm.
after this set, it's third. That is my set goal.
Yeah, well, I have confidence that you will do well either way, but just the amount of guys, like when a player is I'm gonna say this, but when you see someone like OyA, right, just having that fine line of confidence in themselves and still being humble about where he's at and like wanting to improve, you can see why OyA has gone from Ghost League to just being a staple in the Pro League. So even though today was hard for you, I want to extend my congratulations just in general for how well you've been doing. So would you have anything to say to kind of anyone in the chat, your fans or what have you?
No, I want to thank you as always, and of course, thank you to all my supporters cheering me on. I'm sad I couldn't really perform like I wanted to today, but Bonyth is a great player. I can't take anything from him. He's very hard to beat, very hard to play against, and there's a reason why he's the champion. So I just want to thank everybody, and you'll see me next time stronger and better.
Yeah, the feeling is mutual. It's I also when facing OyA, I have my doubts. I know he is that kind of a player who could potentially knock me out of the tournament. So I need to keep playing and improving myself in order to not let OyA win against me next time.
Yeah. Well, Bonyth, any final thoughts to your fans?
Keep on waiting on my stream. Hashtag soon. And yeah, thanks for supporting. Thanks to my wife for taking care of my kid while I was playing. I tried to put my kid to sleep, but due to time zone changes, she just wouldn't sleep, and failed there and had to just play against OyA. Anyway, so thanks for rooting for me, and I hope you'll root for me in the finals.
Yeah, for sure. Well, congrats once again, Bonyth, and congrats to you, OyA, as well, just for a sick tournament. And we'll see you guys next week, obviously playing in the final day. So good luck.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers. Okay, we're back.
Yep, we are back. So that is going to wrap up the round of 4. We have our final set. It is going to be Terror versus Bonyth, and it is going to be OyA versus Avilov in the 3rd and 4th place match. So we, of course, want to thank our sponsors. We have Esports Fund as our main sponsor, and of course, all you guys out there in the chat, thank you so much for supporting the BSL. And you can support the BSL multiple ways, whether you want to donate, whether you want to sub, whether you want to buy the BSL underwear or the BSL sweatshirt, or if you want to become a Patreon. We know that there are so many of you that are Patreons, and we love you for that. Yes, so at the $100 Patreon level, we have Star Lover. $50, we have Grail and Striker. $30 level, Tupacalypse and Gruglog. At the Bombastic Major level, X Civil War X, Christian Eddington, Mad Catz Fury Road, Martin Harzmar, LML, Lincoln Pup, and Komchak. And everyone else, thank you so much for becoming a Patreon supporter. And remember, $10 level or above, you get all the replays from the BSL. So definitely think about becoming a Patreon supporter.
Yeah. And the shop. We still have the coupon, right? Okay, so until next Saturday, guys, you can use code Bombastic for 20% off. Get that. Look at that polo, man. Actually, I know, Tenderization, he has a Bombastic Starleague mug. So there's coffee mugs, there's everything, and it looks sexy, man. I mean, look at those mugs. Super Gosu caps, Super Gosu socks. Definitely, honestly, man. And like, I wear this t-shirt. Obviously, I wear my t-shirts when I'm wearing my hoodie a lot of the time now. I wear the t-shirt obviously when I'm broadcasting, but I've been wearing it around the house, or I've been wearing it to the gym. It's really comfortable. So, again, it's at least this way you're supporting the BSL and you're also getting something in return. Not a bad idea. And yeah, that's it. The YouTube, that's right. And you can check out Zero's YouTube, which is just whatever, ZZZero, right? Or Bombastic Starleague, yeah. So all the VODs are getting uploaded to the YouTube account. So make sure you guys check that out. Or if ever you want to link your friends to the VODs of the BSL, I think it's probably better that you link them to the YouTube rather than the Twitch VODs. And make sure you guys subscribe to the YouTube and also like the videos and stuff, especially if you watch them. And hopefully one of these days, if we pray to RNGesus, BSL will get picked up by the algorithm, the YouTube algorithm, and then we'll skyrocket into famedom, to stardom. Yeah.
I am hoping for that day where I log in or check Zero's YouTube page and it's got like 1 million hits. I go to Korean class, and since I am learning a new language, it's hard to figure out what topics to talk about. So I just talk about the topic that I know the best.
Yeah.
And I just tell people I love StarCraft. And surprisingly, a lot of the people there end up knowing StarCraft, including the teachers. And actually, I told my teacher that I was skipping Friday because I was playing in Ascension.
Yeah.
And she was asking, "Oh, what's the link? And did you do well?" and stuff like that. So, yeah, definitely tell your friends. You never know who actually knows StarCraft. Actually 3 or 4 people in my class play games, and they all knew StarCraft. I was surprised. None of them were Korean either. There was a couple guys from the Netherlands, a couple from America. So yeah, definitely.
Yeah, but what do they think about when you say StarCraft? Is it Brew War or StarCraft 2? Oh yeah, I know StarCraft. I played that Jim Raynor campaign where he saves Kerrigan or something, and then I get all sorts of triggered.
Well, I guess I don't go that deep asking them whether they play StarCraft 2. I'm just happy.
Yeah, isn't the Disruptor nuts?
I want to tell some high school stories, but I feel like I'm going into a boomer story, and it's at the end of the cast, so maybe we'll save that for next time. But thank you guys so much for watching BSL. This is going to be the end of the round of 4. Next week is going to be the finals, and it is going to be on Saturday, not Sunday. So make sure you tune into that. So thank you so much, and we will see you next week.